Hello everyone, here drops the part 3 of Know Your Edikang Ikong soup. In case you missed the first two parts, you can catch up, okay? And look at that delicious looking Edikang Ikong soup. I'm the guru here. I know what to teach you, so hold on and watch this video to the very end. I have my ingredients right here. The fluted pumpkin leaves. I did the basic Edikang Ikong soup without any like a low budget Edikang Ikong soup. I didn't add any stockfish and the rest. So I have the pumpkin leaf and the water leaves, the crayfish, and here is the palm oil, the goat meat. You can use any protein of your choice, okay? And I have the dried fish. I have seasoning cubes. I did not use all of that, please take note of that. And then the yellow and red habanero pepper and onion. So I want to quickly show you the quantity of this is the major essence of this practical. um I want to quickly show the quantity of the pumpkin leaves that I used. This is about 300 naira in Abuja, Nigeria, where I live, and this water leaf, this big bunch, is about 500 naira. And if you measure them physically before you cut, it looks like the water leaves is almost double the size. It's double the size of this fluted pumpkin leaves. Now I'm going to pick it and ensure that all the big sticks are out, the big stems are out. I've already prepped my other ingredients as well. As you can see, I've washed and cleaned and properly deboned my dried fish, and all ingredients are set. So the only thing remaining is for me to cut the leaves before I go into the cooking proper. Do not skip this part, this is very important. um at this point, after picking out the sticks and the stems of the water leaf and the pumpkin leaf, um it's about, you can see that it's still about like like 70 to 30. Remember that I told you in part 1 that you need 60% of water leaf to 40% of pumpkin leaf. That percentage I gave was after you've cut it, okay? So now we're here to cut this, so look at that. And right, see how I cut it thinly. Make sure it is you slice it thinly, because if you don't slice it thinly, it's going to, it won't give you the consistency that you're supposed to get, okay? In Nigeria, we say it's not going to give you everything it's supposed to give you. Right? So make sure that you cut it thinly, and if you may need to recut it, of course you always want to recut it so that everything will just come out well. But if you don't cut it well at first and you want to recut, it will still be big, so make sure it's thinly sliced from the beginning. All right, now look at this fluted pumpkin leaves. I had to recut the stem again, right? Those sticks, look at what I'm doing. If you do not cut all those big sticks out, you won't have the consistency you're supposed to have. It is not, definitely not going to be a Edikang Ikong soup. It might be another soup, but if you want to have the consistency that you should have in a Edikang Ikong soup, cut out all the stems. I remember when I came into Abuja newly and we're like, let's go to a Calabar kitchen to eat, and apparently it wasn't a Calabar person that prepared that Edikang Ikong soup, because it had, or maybe it was just a Calabar person that doesn't really know his or her onion. So we ate and the soup was full of sticks. I didn't even enjoy it. I couldn't even eat it. I'm very selective when it comes to food, so I ensure that I cook the best. So for me, eating out is always difficult, except it's a fast food. So I couldn't eat this. I couldn't enjoy the soup because of the lot of sticks. That's not the original Edikang Ikong soup that I know. All right, so you want to be sure that you have the very best after watching this video. So cutting out those stems is really important. So that was the essence of that story I gave you. All right, so do leave a question in the comments. All right, if you have any, I'll be so glad to respond to all your questions. Now I've finished cutting the leaves and getting ready to cook the soup proper. The meat, I need to season it now. So remember that you shouldn't use too much salt and you shouldn't use too much seasoning. So that seasoning you saw, I used just 1.5. If you open up the seasoning, could be it was meant to be 4 cubes, but I used just 1.5 of the cubes. Okay, and I added just a very little water just for the meat to steam with. Okay, I want my meat to taste really good. All right, so that's why I'm adding all that and a lot of pepper and the onion. I'm not going to be adding this to the main soup. So I always, if you watch my videos, you'll see that I always do that because I want my meat coming out really tasty, really tasty. Okay, so now I finished cutting the water leaves and the fluted pumpkin leaves. Look at that. Remember that the leaves, fluted pumpkin leaves, usually lighter than the water leaf. The water leaf has a high volume of water. The density is high. Now I had like 2 handful of that, but what I have here is like more than 3 handfuls, right? So you can do the maths. All right. So the thing is, make sure that your pumpkin leaf is not more than the water leaves. So my meat is almost cooked because the water wasn't much. I have to turn the other side to ensure that this other side also cooked. The water did not cover the meat, so it means this other side wasn't cooked. So as I turned, and then I added a little water for it to continue cooking and cook properly. All right. So I'm going to cover it for the total cooking time for this meat was about 20 minutes. It actually depends on the intensity of your fire. That's what is going to determine the cooking time, especially for your meat and the type of meat you are using as well. Okay. Then I've added this dried fish that is properly cleaned and deboned. Okay. And then I added palm oil. You may decide to add your water leaves first before the palm oil, but did you know that the literal meaning of Edikang Ikong means fried vegetable? Like Edikang in my place means fried. All right, so you may choose to add your oil first before your water leaves. Okay, so and then I've added 1 tablespoon of crayfish. 1 tablespoon. I did not add all that crayfish you saw in the plate because it was finely blended. And yeah, at this point I'm adding the water leaves. So I'm going to either allow it to cook and bring out its juice, or you just mix it with the rest of the ingredients. It's the same thing. It's not going, nothing is going to spoil. All right. All right, so please do let me know where you're watching me from. Leave it in the comments so I can give you a shout out in my next video. I haven't given people a shout out in a very long time, so I'll be so delighted to know where you're watching me from. All right, thank you so much. All right, so I saw that this was really thick, and that's why I added just a little bit of water. Remember that you don't need too much water to cook your soup, right? I added very little. Hot water is preferable. This is just to ensure that my soup cooks well. At this point, the only thing remaining for me to add in the soup is the pumpkin leaves. Did you notice that I did not add any others? I didn't add more salt. I didn't add more seasoning because if you overpower your soup with these ingredients, you won't enjoy it. The aim is that you watch my videos and you take your cooking game from 0 to 100. So stick around if you want to be the professional cook that you've been desiring to be. And then I've added the fluted pumpkin leaves, and at this point just turn off your heat. Your soup is ready. You don't need to cook it further for it to remain fresh. You want it very fresh like you saw. So you just mix it at this point and you serve with any swallow of your choice. maybe gari, maybe some more, maybe pounded yam, anyone that goes well with you. Look at that. Look at that freshness. Look at that. This soup was so yummy. This soup was so delicious. Very, very delicious. Now, if you have watched this video up till this moment, please leave 100 in the comments. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Bye for now.